Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. In this video, we will learn how to upload category image using WooCommerce, WordPress and Flutter application. So this is our application, and if I click on any of the edit category, and here we are getting option to upload image by using gallery or by using camera click. So when we select any image, we are getting the image here. So now if I click on the save button, it will save the image in the database. So now if I again click on the edit button, so here you can see the image is getting load from the server in the edit mode. Same way we can do for the add category also. We have the option to upload the image here. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So this is the package which we are going to use in our application, and the package name is image picker, and this will be used for picking the image from our device or from the camera. The documentation is very straightforward. So now let's move to the code part. First of all, we will update our category model, and we will go to the model folder, and from there we will click on the category model, and here we will add string file name. Then we will add a category image, and we will get the category image class, and this one we will comment it, and here we will create class category image. Then here we will have string type of source. Then we have the constructor here, this dot source. Then we will have category dot from JSON, map string dynamic, source is equal to JSON src. Then we will have map string dynamic to JSON, and here we will have final map string dynamic data is equal to new map string dynamic data source is equal to this dot source, and here we will return data. And now we will update here also, and here we will check if this dot image is not of null. Then here we will have data, and we will copy this one dot to JSON, and here we will check if JSON image is not of null. Then we will have new category image from JSON, and here we will have JSON image. In the else condition, we will pass here new category image. So what we have did here, we have added two parameters. First one is a file name, second one is a category name, and here we have the constructor. Then we have check here if that JSON image is not of null, then we are mapping it with that category image from JSON. In the else condition, we are passing here empty category image, and here we are checking if this dot image is not of null, then we are picking image is equal to this dot image dot to JSON, and here we have created the category image class, and here we have the source. Then we are getting here from JSON and we are mapping it. Then we have the to JSON. So now we will modify our base file also. In the base file, we are going to add a new icon. That is icon will be used for the setting icon to generate the token, and that token will be used for our image uploading and all. And here we have caster detector. Then we have the child here, new icon. Then we have the icon here, icons dot setting icon. Then we have the color here, and we are picking colors dot black color. Then we have the on tap event, and this will be used to redirect user to the setting page, and we will create one setting page also. And here we will create one setting page, setting underscore page dot file, and we will make it as a stateful widget setting page, and we will inherit from base page. And here also we have the base page state, and here we will change it to page UI, and here we have the title for the app bar, and for that we have to override void initialize state super dot initialize state. Then we have this dot page title is equal to setting. So now we will map this page from our base page, and here we have get dot to. We have to import the get package here, setting page. So now let's see in the application is it working or not. And here if I click on the categories, in the app bar we are getting the setting icon. If I click on the setting icon, we are landing to the setting page. So now let's move further to add the implementation in the setting page. So here we will design our page UI, and here we will have single child scroll view, and inside that we have that child, and we are using a padding we are using here agenset dot all 10. Then we have the child here, and we are using a column wizard. So right now we are just using one column here, and in the future we can have the multiple, that's why you're using your column wizard. Then we have the main axis alignment, and we are using a main axis alignment dot start. Then we have the cross axis alignment, and we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a padding, and we are using a edge inset dot all 10. Then we have the child here, and we are using a form helper dot input field widget with label, and first one is a context. Then we are using a icon here, and we are using a icons dot lock icon. And then we have the key name here, and we are using your key name as a token. And then we have the label here, and we are using a JWT token as a label name. Then we have the hint text we are using as empty here. Then we have the on validate and we are not using anything here, and we will return here null. Then we have the on save here. Then we have the on change here, and we are not using anything. Then we have the suffix icon, and that icon will be used to open the pop-up for the login model. And here we are using icon button, and the icon we are using here as a icons.refresh icon. Then we have that on press event. So now let's see the UI in the device. So here you can see text box is coming here, and with the prefix icon and suffix icon both, and we can remove some padding also. Padding left 0, padding right 0, and here we are getting the padding, and the padding has been removed from here. So now we will get the login pop-up here, and that will be open when we click on this refresh icon, and when we log in the system, and it will generate the token to us, and that token will be used for uploading the image with our WooCommerce. So first of all, we will create one model file here, and that will be used for the setting models. And here we have settings model.dart file, and here we will have class settings model. And then we have the string username, string password, and here we have the constructor here, this dot username, this dot password. And then we will have setting model dot from JSON map string dynamic JSON. And then we have the username here is equal to JSON username, password is equal to JSON password. And then here we will have map string dynamic to JSON, final map string dynamic, data is equal to new of map string dynamic. And then here we will have data username is equal to this dot username, data password is equal to this dot password. Then from here we will return data. So now we will create one utility here, and we will go here and we will add here login popup.dart file, and here we will have class login popup dialog, and here we have the global key, and this will be used for the form which we are going to put in this login popup. Global key is equal to global key form state. Then here we have the function here open dialog, and here we have the constructor of context. Before that we will create one UI here, and that UI will be used to show the form. We have the visit dialog content, and we will have build context. And then we have the setting model here, and here we will return container, and here we have the margin here, and we are using a edge insert dot only, and we are using a left 0 or right 0. Then we have the child here, and we are using a stack visit, and here we have the children's here. Inside that we are using one container, and the margin we are using a edge insert dot only or right, and we are picking 8. And then we have the decoration here, and we are using a box decoration. And then we have the color here, and we are using a colors dot white. And then we have the shape here, and we are using a box shape dot rectangle. Then we have the border radius here, and we are using a border radius dot circular 16. Then we have the box shadow, and we are using a box shadow color. We are using here colors dot black color. Then we have the blur radius, and we are using here 0. In the offset we are using here offset 0. And then we are having the child here, and we are using a column visit, and here we have the main axis size, and we are using a main axis size dot minimum. And then we have the cross axis alignment, and we are using a cross axis alignment dot stretch. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a size box. Height we are using a 20. And then we have another size box with the height of 24. Then here we have the form here. The key we are using a global key. And then we have the child here, and we are using a column visit. Main axis size we are using a main axis size dot min. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a form helper dot input with label. The icon we are using a icons dot verify icon. And then we have the key name, and we are using a username. And then we have the user name as a label name. The hint text we are using nothing. And then we have the on validate, and we are checking here if on validate value dot is empty. And then we are returning here username can't be empty. By default we are returning a null. And then we have that on save value, and we are passing here model dot username is equal to on save value. And then we have that initialize value, and we are using a model dot username, and same we will do for the password also, and we will copy this and we will paste here, and here we will change it to password, and this one also to password, and here we will change it to password, this one also. So now let's call this one to see how it's looking in the pop-up. So before that we have to modify our above code, and here we will have show dialog. The context we are passing this one. And then we have the builder here, and we will have here build context, and here we will have barrier dismissible. So that means if we click on the background of any area, then this pop-up will be not removed. It will be stay on the screen. For that we have to put here false, and from here we will return dialog, and here we have the shape here, and we are using a rounded rectangle border, and here we have the border radius, and we are using a circular 16. Then we have the elevator here, and we are using a 0. In the background we are using a color dot transparent color. Then we have the child here, and here we will call this one, and we will pass here context. And also we have to pass the setting model, and we will pass here dummy setting model, new of setting model. So now let's call this one from our setting page, and we will go here, and here in the suffix icon on press we will call here login pop-up dialog dot open dialog, and here we have the context. Now let's see the application, is it working or not. So here we have the application, we will click on the setting, and here if I click on the refresh icon, now we are getting the pop-up here, but the look is not good, so we have to modify more things over there to make the look more better here. So now here we will have form helper dot submit button, and we have the text here login, then we have the on tab here. So now here we will add position widget, and that will be used for our close icon to close the pop-up, and here we will have that right 0 top 0. Then we have the child here, and we are using a gesture detector, and we have the on tab here. Then we have the child here, and we are using a align widget alignment, and we are using a alignment dot top right. Then we have the child here, and we are using a circle avatar, and here we have the radius, and we are using a 14. Then we have the background color, and we are using a color dot red color. Then we have the child here, and we are using an icons dot close icon. Then we have the colors here, and we are using a colors dot white icon. So here you can see we are getting a close icon also, and we are getting the button also, and there is a spacing issue. So let's do some spacing issue over there, and here we will put size box, and the height we are using at 25. From the top we are getting the margin, so in the bottom also we have to put here. So we are getting the proper spacing here. So the icon we have to change this one, and we have to put here lock icon. Here we will put navigator dot off context dot pop, and this will be used to close the pop-up. When we click on the close icon, that pop-up has been removed. So if I again click on here, we are getting the pop-up. If I again click here, it will be removed. So now let's move further, and we will implement one provider file, and that will do all the handling of this login pop-up. So now we will get the one provider file, and that provider will be used for the login provider, and there we are going to do multiple things. Login underscore provider dot file, and here we have class login provider with change notifier. Then we have some variables. First one is a boolean type of hide password, and this will be used for showing and hiding the password. And then we have getter for this hide password underscore hide password. Then we have the setting model. Then we have the getter for the setting model. Then we have that object for the API service. Boolean type of is loading. Then we have the getter for the same. Then we have that message variable, and this will be shown if we are provided any invalid username password. In that case we will show that message. Then we have the getter for the same. Then we have token variable string token, and same we have the getter also. And here we have that constructor underscore hide password is equal to true. By default we will hide the password. Then we have that setting model, and here we will get the object here. Then we have the API service is equal to new of API service. Then we have is loading, and by default we will make it as a false. Then we have the message here, and we will initialize it with empty. Then here we have to create one function that will be used for showing and hiding the password, and here we will have on show hide password, and here we will have hide password is equal to not of hide password, and here we will call notify listener. Now let's implement this login provider in our setting page in our login pop-up. For doing that we have to first go to the main.dot file, and here we will copy this, and here we will change it to login provider. Now we will go to the login pop-up, and here we have that control for password, and here we will provide obscure text, and here we are taking the value from provider of login provider. Then we have the context here. Then here listen we have to make it true because we have to listen the value change and all. Then here we will have hide password. Then here we have to provide the suffix icon, and that will be used to showing or hiding the password. And here we will have icon button. The icon we are using here icon, and we will provide here condition, and we have to copy this one, and we have to check here. If it is hide password, then we will show here icons dot visibility off, else we will show icons.visibility. Then here we have the onPress event, and here we will call provider of login provider. Then we have the context here, listen true, and here we will call this function that is on show hide password. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. So here if I click on the refresh icon, we are getting a pop-up here. So now we are getting here icon for that show hide a password. So if I type here password, by default it is hide. So if I click here, it is not working. Let me check what is the issue. And here we have to make it false here, and let's reload the application. So now it is working fine. So it is working as per the expectation. So if I click here, it will hide the password. If I click again, it will show the password. So now let's move further to that login provider, and there we have to provide 2-3 more things, like for the close pop-up event and for the login, and also for showing the message here. Then here we have to create future type of bool on login, and we will cover it later on when we create the API for the same. Then we have that set loading status, and it will be used for showing and hiding a loader, and here we have to provide the value here. Then we have is loading is equal to val. Then here we will call notify listener. Then we will have on pop-up close, and here we have to reset the object of setting model, and we will reinitialize it with new setting model. Then we have to reset the message here is equal to null. So now we will add API function to login the user. So before moving to the API part, you have to make sure that you have installed that JWT plugin in your WordPress application. And if you have not followed that video, you can watch the video. I will put the link in the description, and there I cover everything over the login system in our WordPress. So now let's move to the API part. And here we will create new function, and we will have future bool. Then we have admin login, and here we will have string username, string password, and we will make it as a async here. Then we have to pick the information from login details is equal to await shared service dot login detail. Then we will have map type of string, and here we have to pass request headers, content type, application x www-form URL encoded. So we have to make sure we have to use the content type of application x www-form URL encoded. Then we have that URL here, where URL is equal to new of URI.https. Then here we will have login details dot host. Then here we have WP, endpoint will be WP JSON /JWT-auth/v1/token. And here we'll have response is equal to await client.post request, and we are doing here post request. Then we have to pass here headers, and here we have request headers. Then we have the body here, and we have to pass this JSON here, username, and we have to pass here username. Then we have the password here, and we have to pass here password. Then here we will check if response.status code is equal to 200, that means successfully logged in. Then here we will have JSON string is equal to response.body, and here we will have response model is equal to JSON.decode, and here we will pass JSON string. And here we will check if response model status code is equal to 200. Then we will print the token here, and we will print here token response model data. Then we will have token here, and here we will return if response model dot status code is equal to 200. Then we will pass here true, else we will pass here false, and the else condition we will pass here return null. So what we are doing here, we have created one function that is admin login, and we are passing it two variables. First one is username, then we have a password here, then we are getting the information of login detail, that host detail and all, and then we are creating a request header, and we are passing a content type of application www-form URL encoded. Then we are creating a URL, and we are passing a login detail dot host. Then we are passing an endpoint as a WP JSON. Then we have /WT auth v1. Then we have a token here. Then we are creating the response here, and we are passing a post request. Then we have the URL request header. Then in the body we are passing a username, password. Then we are checking here if response.status code is equal to 200. That means we are successfully logged in. Then we are getting the JSON here, which we are getting from the server. And then in the JSON we are doing the decoding part. And then we are checking here if the status code of that JSON is 200, that means we are getting a token. In case of invalid token, we might get some other status code also, and also in the case of invalid login also we will get the status code as a different. Then we are printing a token. Then we have the response model status code, and we are passing it 200. In the return, we are checking here if the status code is 200, then we are passing it true, else we are passing it false. So now implement this API in our onLogin function, and here we have where response is equal to await, and we will make it as a async here, API service dot admin login, and we are passing here setting model dot username, and then we have the setting model dot password, and here we are checking if not of response, then we are passing a message is equal to invalid username password, and we are calling a notify listener, and here we will save that. Then we are calling a return response. So now let's call this on function from our login pop-up, and here in that on type of submit button we will call here. Before doing that, we have to create one function here, and that will use for validate our form, and we will have boolean type of validate and save, and here we will have form is equal to global key dot current state, and we will check here if form is validate, then we will have form dot save, and we will return here true, and by default we will return here false. So now we will check here if validate and save, then we will call here provider of login provider, then we have the context here listen false, because we are doing the action here, we don't need to do any variable listening and all. Then we have to call here set loading status true, that means loader is loading. Then we have to call here on login, and here we are getting the value, and we will change the status to false here, that means loader has been completed. Then here we will check if value is true, that means the login successfully. Then we will close the pop-up here, and we will have navigator of context dot pop-up pop. So here we have to check if the loader is loading or not. If it is loading, then we will show here progress indicator, else we are showing here button. For doing that, we have to copy this one, and here we will have listen true, because we have to listen the variable, and we have to listen here is loading, that means we are checking here if it is loading, then we are showing here circular progress indicator, else we have to show here button. So now let's reload the application to see is it working or not. So if I click on that refresh button, we are getting a pop-up. So now if I click on login here, we are getting the validation username can't be empty, and here also we are getting username can't be empty, we can change it to password. So now this has been changed. So if I put here username, and here if I put a password, and if I click here login, so you can see here loader is loading here, and the API call has been sent. So once we get the result, and this one will be changed to the button, and here we are getting some error, and we have to check that error also. So let me put the debugger here. So here we are getting the debugger here. So values are coming as a null. We have to pass this setting model over there. And for doing that, we have to modify our login pop-up. And here in the login pop-up, instead of passing this as a empty, we have to pass here, and we have to pick from our login provider. And here we have where model is equal to provider of login provider context listen false dot setting model. This we have to put inside this function, and we have to pass this model over here. So now let's reload the application. So here if I click here, and if I click here also, then I will put here some values, then I put here some values and click login here. So now if I go to the debugging, so here we are getting the values. So now let's move inside that function, and here we are getting login detail, then we are getting the URL, and post request had been sent. So now we have response from the server, and we are getting here invalid username. Now we will go inside this one, and here we are getting the JSON string. Then we are getting the response model here, and here we are not getting 200, that's why it will not go inside that. So here we will get the false. So now we get the message also as the invalid username password. Then we are getting the response here, and the loader has been stopped after the debugging is completed. So now we have to show the message also here, and for doing that we have to put one text field here, and we will put here text visit, and that value will come from our provider dot message. So here you can see we are getting invalid username password. So let me do some padding also, and this one will be moved here, and the padding we are using as instead.all 10. So now we are getting some padding also. So let me do some design also, and here we have the style, and we are using it text style, and the color we are using here colors.red color. So now it is looking fine. So now we will put the proper username password to see we are getting that token or not. So now if I click on the login, so after successful login we will get the token from the server. So here we are getting a token from the server. So this token we will save in our shared preferences so that we can use it for uploading the image file. So now we will update our shared service, and there we will add two functions, and here we will have static future void. The first function will be used for storing the JWT token which we are getting after calling our login API, and in the parameter we will have token final preference is equal to await shared preference dot get instance, and we will make it as async here, and we'll return here preference dot set string, and we will pass here JWT underscore token, and the value we will pass here token, and we will check here if token is not of null, then we will pass here token, else we will pass here null in string. And here we will have static future string get JWT token, and we will make it as async here. Then we have final preference is equal to await shared preference dot get instance, and here we will return preference dot get string, and here we will have JWT underscore token, and here we will call this function from our API, and here we will go to the API service, and here instead of printing it we will call here shared service dot set JWT token, and here we will pass this token. So now we will go to our provider file, and there also, and here we will create fetch JWT token async, and here we will have token is equal to await shared service dot get JWT token, and here we will call notify listener, and we will call this function after here await fetch JWT token. So now we will go to our setting page, and here in the initialize state we will call here provider of login provider context listen false, and here we will call fetch JWT token, and here in the JWT token input box, and here we have the initialize value, and that value we will fetch from our provider of, and here we will pass login provider, and here we have the context, then we have the listen false, then we have the token here. So what we are doing here in the page load, we are just calling this fetch JWT token. If that token is saved in our shared preference, then it will call that fetch, and it will save into that variable of token here, and then here we are just calling this token, and we are making listening true, so that if there will be any change in the token value, and it will give us the latest value. So now let's run the application to see that token is coming in the input box or not. So here if I click on that refresh icon, we are getting the form here. So now if I click on the login here, so now you can see here token we are getting in this box. So if I reload the application, and if I come back to the setting page, so now you can see the token is getting saved in our shared preference. So now let's move to the last part of the video, that is image uploading. But doing that we have to create one utility. So let's move to creating the utility. So here inside our util folder we will create a new utility, that is image picker underscore utils dot file, and here we will create one class image picker util, and here we will create one function of static type visit picker. Then we have that parameters here, and first one is a string file name, boolean type of is edit mode, string type of image URL, then we have function on file pick, and this will be used to return the file path, and here we have future, and before doing that we have to add the package also, and here we will add the package, and this package also we will change to the latest version Flutter barcode scanner, and here we have future picked file underscore image file, then we have that image picker is equal to picker is equal to new of image picker, and here we will return column children's. Inside that we are going to use row visit, and we have main axis alignment dot center, then we have the children's here, and the first one we are going to use is a size box, and the height we are using at 35, and width we are using at 35. Then we have the child here, and we have new icon button, and the icon we are going to use first icon will be icons.imageIcon, and the size we are using at 35. Then we have that onPress event, and here we have image file is equal to _picker.getImage, and we are getting it from that gallery. First icon will be for the gallery, and the source will be image source.gallery, and here we have image file .then, and here we will call onFilePick, and here we will pass the file, and this one we will change it to file. So what we are doing here on the onPress, we are calling this function, that is picker.getImage, and we are getting the image in the image file, and the source here we are using gallery. Then in the onThen we are just calling the onFilePick, and from there we are passing that file which has been picked from the gallery. Then we will create one more size box, and that will be used for our camera image, and we will just copy paste this code and we will paste it, and here we will change the icon to camera. And then we will have the padding here, and we are using here as instead from left to right, left 10, the other one all will be 0. And here we will change the source to camera. So rest of the part is same. After this we will show the image which has been selected, or in the edit mode we will show the image from the URL. So for that we have to put a condition here, and then we have that file name is equal to null and is edit mode, and image URL is not equal to null. Then we will pick the image from image.network, and here we have image URL. In the else condition we will show here image file image.file. In the else condition we will check here file name is not of null. Then we will pick image.file, and we will pass here file, and here will be a file name. Then we have the width here 300, height 300, and here also we can provide the width and height, width 300 and height 300, and here we have to import .io. In the else condition we will show here container, empty container, if there will be no image or anything. So what we are doing here, we have created one function in the image picker util, and there the name of the function is picker, and there we are providing file name is edit mode. Then we have that image URL, then we are calling a callback function for onFilePick. Then we are having one future type of image file, and here we have that return column visit. Inside that we are having row visit for showing two icons. First one is for the image selecting from our gallery, and then after selecting we are just calling callback function onFilePick, and we are passing a file which has been picked. Then we have that second option, that is for camera selection, and then we are just passing that value. Then we have that callback on onFilePick, and we are just passing the file here, and here we are showing that image which has been. Then here we are putting the condition if the file name is equal to null or having a edit mode, or image URL is not of null. Then we are showing image from the network. In the else condition we are showing image from that file, that is from the local file, or if there is no file selected, then we are just showing here container, empty container here. So we will modify our category edit page, and here after that size box we will put here image picker utils, and here we have the picker. Then we have our file name, and here we are passing this dot category model dot file name, and here we are passing this dot visit dot file page type is equal to page type dot edit. Then we have the image URL, and we are passing here this dot category model dot image dot source. Then we have the function, and here we have that file, and we are making it as async here. Then here we are calling set state this dot category model dot file name is equal to file dot path to string. So what we are doing here, we are calling image picker util dot picker, and there we are passing the variables. First one we are assigning it with the file name category model dot file name. Then we have that page type, and if it is edit then it will be sending as a edit mode. Then we are passing a image dot source. Then we have that file pick event, and here we are just calling set state, and here we are assigning that file name to the path we are getting from the image pick. And here we have to do small modification, and here we have to pass this dot category model dot image, and we have to initialize it. In the case of add screen we have to initialize this image with new category image. So now we will go to our API service, and there we will create one function for file uploading and all, and here we will create future string upload image, and here we have to pass file path, and we will make it as async here. Then we have that login details to just get the URL from our save shared preference, shared service dot login details. Then we have the URL here, URI.https, and here we have login detail dot host. Then we have the endpoint here /wp-json/wp/v2/media. Then here we have to get the file name from our file path, and we will have file path dot split, and we will get the last item of that split after slash, and that will be our file name from our full path. And here we will get the token also, and that we will get from our shared service dot get JWT token. Then we have that request header map string/string request header is equal to, and we will create here headers authorization, and we are sending a bearer token. Then we have the content disposition, and we are just passing attachment, and this will be semicolon. File name is equal to $file_name variable which we have created above. Then we have the content type, and we are passing an image/jpeg. Then here we have to create one variable of list int type image bytes is equal to file, and we have to pass our file path variable here, and here we have to import it. Then here we will have read as byte sync. Then we have to create the request here, where request is equal to http.request, and we are passing a post request, and here we have the URL. Then we have to pass header also is equal to request header, and here we have to pass the request header dot add all, and we are passing a request headers. Then we have the request dot body byte is equal to image byte. Then we have the where resource is equal to await request dot send, and here we will check if resource.status code is equal to 201, that means image has been successfully uploaded. Then we have to call here some function that we will create, and by default we will return here null. So what we are doing here, we have created one function of upload image, and there we are passing file path, and here we are just calling shared service.login detail, and from there we are getting the login detail. Then we are creating the URL here, and we are picking the host from our login detail.host. Then we have the endpoint that is wp-json/wp/v2/media. Then we have one variable file name, and we are picking file path.split, and we are picking the last after the slash, we are picking the file name from there. Then we have the token here, we are getting it from shared service.getJWT token. Then we are getting the request header here, and we have that authorization, and we have that bearer tokens, passing here the bearer token. Then we have the content, and this will be the content disposition, and then we are passing an attachment. Then we have that file name here. Then we have the content type, we are passing image JPG. Then we have created the variable for image bytes. Type of this variable will be a list of int type, and we are just calling this file, and we are passing here file path, and then we are reading it as a byte sync. Then we are creating a request here, that post request, and here we are passing the URL. Then in the request header we are passing all the request headers. Then in the body byte we are passing this image byte. Then we are creating the request here, and there we are just calling request.send, and we are getting the response here. If status code is 200, then we will create one function that will read the URL from that response, and here we will create static future string get image URL, and here we are passing the URL, and we will make it as async here, and we will create request header map string request headers, and here we will pass content type application/json. Then we have to create the response here, where response is equal to await client.getRequest, and here we will call URI.parse, and here whatever URL we are getting from that location we have to call here, and then we have to pass here headers, request headers. Then we are checking here if response.status code is equal to 200. Then we are having a JSON string is equal to JSON.decode response.body, and we are returning here JSON string, and we are getting source URL from our request. In the else condition we are calling a return null. So what we are doing here, we have created one function that is get image URL, and here we are passing the URL that we will get from here, this request response, and here we are passing content type as application JSON. Then we are just calling this get request, and we are calling this URL, and we are passing it with URI.parse. Then we are passing the headers here, request header. If the response.status code is 200, then we are getting the JSON string, and we are doing the decoding response.body. Then we are getting the source URL from that response. In the else condition, we are calling here return null. So now we will call here, and we will return here, return await get image URL, and here we will pass response.headers, and here we are getting the location header. In that location header we are getting the link for the API which is having the image URL. So now we will modify our provider class to call this file uploading over there. So now we will modify our provider file, category provider, and here we will go to categories provider, and we will go to the trade category, and here we will put if model dot file name is not of null, then we will have a string image URL is equal to await API service dot upload image, and we will pass here model dot file name, and here we will check if image URL is not of null, then we will have model dot image is equal to new category image, then we will have model image dot source is equal to image URL. So what we are doing here, we are just checking if that model.file name, that is pic file, has been selected. If that is not of null, then we are calling here upload image API. Then on getting the image URL, we are just passing that image URL in model.image.source, and the same code we will copy here and we will paste here in our update category also. So now let's run the application to see is it working or not. So now if I click on the categories, and from here if I click on the add category, so we are getting the icons here for upload image, but that UI is not properly looking. So here we will put some spacing here. We will go to our add edit screen, and here we will put the size box after this. So now it is coming properly. So if I click on this one to select image from our gallery, and we have to click on allow. Now if I go to our images, from here we are getting the image. If I select any image, now image is coming here. So if I enter the category name test image testing, and now if I click on the save button, so I think we are getting some error here. So let me put the debugger here. So I'm putting a debugger here in the upload image. So before that we have to make sure we have the JWT token. So we have that JWT token. So if I click on the add category, and here we will put ABC, and here also ABC, and if I select the image here, so now if I click on the save, so debugger is coming here. If I do debugging here, we are getting a URL also. So here we are getting a token also, and we are getting a request header. So now if I click next header body, and here we are getting the response. So here we are getting the bad request. So that means there is issue with the header part, and here seem like we have to rename it to, we have to make the name to lowercase. Let's reload the application to see is it working or not. So here if I click on the save, so here we are getting the status code 201, that means created. So now let's go inside and see if we are getting the image URL or not. So here we are getting the image URL. So here category created. So now let's see if I click on the edit. So we are getting the image from the server, that means image has been successfully created in the server. So let's reload the application to see. So here if I click on the edit, so now we are getting the image from the server. So let's change the image. So let's take it from the camera, and here if I click on, so we are getting the new image. So let's save it. So category has been modified. So let's edit it again and see is it updated or not. So now here we are getting the updated image. So that's all in this video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, like, comment, share, and share the video as much as you can, so that it will motivate me and I can do more and more video on the series. Thank you all.